Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of OpenLab. You'll note that I'm alone today. My partners, Andrea and Kim, both out feeling ill, so I'm going to go it alone, just like the good old days. So anyway, wherever you're catching this at, you can comment either Facebook or YouTube, and I'll see those comments. Maybe not as quick as when Andrea and Kim are here, but I'll do my best. So. Um, Also, we have swag giveaway today as usual. So what you need to do is comment, since it's a new year, comment on any resolutions you may have, or comment if you don't believe in the resolutions and don't even mess with that nonsense. I've tried it in the past. I never get them finished, so I just gave up. But some people still do it, and good for them. But I can't for some reason. So anyway, and swag, we are getting new swag in. And if you've won swag over the last month or so, don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. We're just waiting for the rest of it to come. But some of it is here. And one item is a little hand sanitizer, a little key ring. And also for winter, it's a nice blanket. It's a felt blanket. It's nice. It's got a nice trim on there. So that's just a couple of the things, and there's some other things that maybe we can talk Andrea into doing another TikTok video like she did the last time. So anyway, hey Russ, welcome. Thanks for joining us. You'll notice that the beard is no more. It got to a certain point, it's like too long. I didn't want food to end up in it. That was my wife's fear. So, and also, the goal was, of course, to get kind of looking like Wade Garrett from Roadhouse. But I don't think I was able to accomplish that no matter how hard I tried. So I just gave up on it. So clean shaven. So let's see. No Kim's Corner today, obviously, because she's not here. But we do have some product updates. So for that, let's see, we have the employees with access to list only will now have the option to update or edit their estimated inbound shipping rates within their settings. So they'll have their own estimated shipping rate within the settings. And I can show you that here. Let me switch screens. So when you go to your settings, which is, there we go. So when you go to your settings, which is accessed up here by clicking there, and then go to calculations, you can set your inbound shipping rate right here. And so if you have an employee with a list only sub account, they can edit their own within settings. Another place to do it, of course, is from within the list and prep page here. So if I just have to find the one that has an item in it. There it is. So if I list an item, I can just click right here and I can change that as well. It'll open up the settings. So when I click there, it just opens up the settings for calculations. So very easy to do. And also within Scout and List, we'll show collectible offers for both merchant fulfilled and FBA items. So we're able to get that now from the API. I think we've had that for a little while, but you're now able to get it when you're listing and that sort of thing. So, all right. And I also want to tell you, we have little section we call Tales from Support. Oh, before I get into that though, if you have any questions, put those into the comments field, and also the swag question to be able to be in the drawing for swag. Just comment in there. If you make a resolution, you don't have to tell us what it is, but if you participate and you want to let us know what yours is, that's great. Or if you don't like to do resolutions, you can comment with that as well, and you'll be entered in the drawing we have for swag later on. But for now, let's go to Tales from Support. So what we have with Tales from Support, we have an answer bot now. So when you reach out to us with a ticket, we'll send you a reply, but we'll also send you some options based on the wording of your question. And so if this does answer your question after you submit a ticket, then just click on yes, close my request. You can view the article first, of course, to do that. And if it doesn't, you don't have to do anything. Just leave it as is. But it'll give you some options from our help center and the help portal. And to get to the help portal, if you're not familiar, just go to Resources, Help Center, and that opens up the support area. But it's a pretty handy feature. It's a little artificial intelligence, helping you along the way. So that should speed things up and get you the help you need much faster. Yeah, Catherine, you're with me. I don't make resolutions anymore either. Like I said, I used to. If you missed it, I used to, but I never completed them. So, hey, Eric, thanks for joining us. Hey, Yellow Brick Road reselling. Okay, yeah. Get back into the FBA and fade from the merchant. So did you find that the merchant fulfillment is just more trouble than it's worth, or just curious why you want to get more on track with FBA and switch from merchant fulfilled? I'd be curious about that. And we've gotten a few tickets this past few weeks about expiration dates. And yes, they are still required. You still have to put a label on your items for expiration dates if it's required, or if they're an item that expires. You can set that up in the settings page, however. If you go to printing, and you can have an expiration date included on your label. We've been doing this. We've included this for years now, so it's accepted by Amazon, or you can just print your own label out. But you do need to have an expiration date on items that require it. So I'm not sure why that came up all of a sudden in support, but we've gotten several tickets about it. So, oh yeah, very interesting. My wife and I full-time RV'd from 2015 to just last year when we moved to Tulsa as part of the Tulsa remote. But we're going to get back into it, I think, this next year as well. So yeah, good. Yeah, I can see why you'd want to do that. Yeah, the advantage to that, of course, you probably find out, is going into different areas of the country. What you get used to shopping for, maybe if you're doing retail arbitrage in the area you're in now, but you go to other parts of the country and you find all kinds of new or regional products that you can ship into Amazon that, say, if you're on the East Coast, you're finding these products that people on the West Coast don't see, and vice versa. And so you can ship those into Amazon, and it's pretty handy. So being able to travel like that should be an advantage. So, all righty. So let's check out what we have for Amazon news. So you may have noticed in the support or Seller Central news area that they lowered, right after the first of the year, they lowered the storage limits. So, or not the storage limits, but the threshold for storage limits. It's 400 now. Previously, it was 450. So after Q4, they, of course, lowered that scoring. And so this article tells you a bit about that. You can go into the news area of Seller Central, which is on the main page, and then see that. But it looks like the score now is 400 from 450, which is what it used to be through Q4. I can't remember when they changed that. I think it was maybe in October, November, or September, something like that. And we may have talked about this before maybe the last OpenLab, but I wanted to make sure about it, the FBA holiday calendar. We have this from a couple different sites to help you kind of figure out which holidays are coming up. See if I have a link for that. Yeah. I'll put the link in the chat here for it. Get my mouse to work right. Here we go. This is the one from Crux Finder. Oh, and Eric, okay. Yours is to increase overall inventory products and focus more at selling books, FBA, and listing books weekly. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good goal. I've tried to do the book thing years ago, and I didn't have much success. So kudos for doing that. I think that's how everybody kind of gets into the FBA selling through books. We just didn't have any where I was. We didn't have much of a opportunity for it, I guess. So, yeah, Sheila, sell more stuff, make money. Yep, that's a great one. Hopefully, everybody can. And then this e-commerce marketing calendar, I'll also post that in the chat. There we go. Because of the different, the different holidays and things as well. And let's see, here's one that I know we didn't talk about last time, but the top Amazon seller conferences to attend in 2022. So we, before COVID, we used to do quite a few conferences every year. I don't know, 4 to 6, I suppose. Really enjoyed meeting everybody and doing all that. And then of course, COVID changed everything. So this last year we did one in September. It was the White Label Expo. And last September was the first year that they'd included or had a focus on selling on Amazon. And so I see that they do have it listed here. So that's one of the ones. We had a good experience there, met a lot of people. But this article with that link there lists all the ones that they're aware of for Amazon sellers. And so White Label Expo, here it is. Looks like it'll be in September again. They have a certain section of, they have a stage for Amazon related information there. John Cleary, our director of product, spoke about a couple of topics there and was well received. So that was good. But the Prosper Show, that's another one that's pretty popular. That's in Vegas. That's been around, gosh, I don't know, 5, 6 years, maybe more. Some of the conferences have kind of gone virtual. So I know that Jim Cochran's group, they do just a virtual one. But looks like the physical conferences are kind of coming back. So that's good to see. And all right, Blake has one of my New Year's resolution is to increase your sales by 20%. Yeah, that's a good one too. All right, now I found another article related. Now these are all, take these with, how you want to. These are from different websites that I found some Amazon related news on. But this one is from Jungle Scout. They're pretty well known in the industry. And so they have some trends that they talk about in 2022. And so some of them are, I thought this was interesting, that sellers are going to source more from domestic manufacturers instead of relying, like on China and that sort of thing. And I think, we've all heard about the supply chain issues and the delays. And so it may cost more. And I'm curious how this is going to work out, because obviously sourcing from within the U.S. can be more expensive. And so that should translate to a higher pricing, or we've seen higher pricing in the last few months, obviously for a lot of things. But if you're not relying on China to source, I'd be curious to see. We're gonna have to watch this one and see how this all plays out. But this other one was very interesting too, I thought. So Amazon is trying to get in competition more with eBay, and they think they're going to focus more on used and refurbished. So, it's better for the environment. Of course, they mention. And I know Amazon has a section. You can sell items like collectibles, those sorts of things. Like I used to sell statues, kind of like the one up there, the Superman statue I have. Of course, you can't see it. Let me pop in, but it's there. Had to keep a little Superman. I'm not going to sell him, but I I used to sell statues on Amazon, and it was nice because I had so many I could just throw them into it. That was before storage, long-term storage, and all that. So, but eBay was usually the marketplace to get those things. So it's interesting that Amazon is going to get into there, and I'm curious to see how this is going to work, since they're going to make more of an effort to highlight used products, according to Jungle Scout. And looks like there'll be some grading in that. And then Amazon is going to focus more on branding. We've seen that over the last few years, the brand registry, for example, and Amazon trying to get brands to register with them to prevent counterfeit items, those sorts of things. And so it looks like Jungle Scout believes they're going to focus more on that. They haven't had much success. I know Nike tried it for a bit, then Nike was out. They just did their own stores and selling through their retail partners. But I don't know about the social media features. Advertising costs will continue to increase. That's not good. But we're going to have Laura back on. She talked about pay-per-click advertising. So we're going to have her back on here in the next month or so to talk more about that and have some tips on how you can improve the advertising costs and the effect on them, the response you get, those sorts of things. So, but I thought that was a kind of an interesting article about the the trends. They felt what the trends were going to be. So, and then today I noticed that in the news, in the forums, improved distribution of your products at no additional cost. Still reading through this, trying to figure it out, but somebody commented down here, in the past, it would cost more to send 10 boxes to 5 different fulfillment centers and would be considered 5 shipments. Now I can pay the 10 boxes to one FC cheaper, but they'll have different labels and addresses and go to the 5 fulfillment centers instead of the one. So after the box content is sent, then that's when Amazon would split it up. So it won't have any effect on how you do things now within InventoryLab. If you do your shipments through us and your box content, it's going to stay the same. This is something that will happen in Seller Central when you're printing your shipping labels. It's kind of like maybe an improved inventory placement, I suppose. Whereas inventory placement, you would send all of your products to one fulfillment center, and then Amazon distributes them from there. Maybe they're trying to move people to this to get out of that. I noticed that inventory placement does delay how quick your items get listed on Amazon, even though you're sending it to one fulfillment center at a lower cost, and it does save you money there. The downside is the time to become active. So so once you select a partner carrier, they'll let you know if your shipment qualifies for that box level placement. So this will be interesting as well to see how this works out. Again, nothing will affect how you work within Stratify, the desktop app of InventoryLab, but we'll see. And then there's box level placement. I'll put this in the chat as well, so you have that. And the last thing was that's the blog from Books Keep Buzz. That's the next segment. But Um, the Amazon Seller Central Partner Network, and it says newly launched, but InventoryLab has been a part of it for quite a while. I mean, you can go, here's the main page, and you can search for InventoryLab. And we've been a part of their council. Our developers and product managers go to Seattle periodically to meet with Amazon and as well as do other software makers. But you can see that we're listed right there as one of the partners. But you can go to this page. Let me just back up a bit. And you can search for software that's partnered with Amazon. One comment I saw was that, okay, Amazon gets their cut, but that's not the case as far as I know. Amazon doesn't take a cut from us. So anyway, something that if you want to get look up some software, other options in a variety of categories, it's an option for you too. So, all right. So the next section we have, we'll get into some Q&A here shortly too. So, but before I do that, I want to get into Bookskeep Buzz, and so we're going to look at, of course, tax time. And this is a pretty good blog. We like Bookskeep, and they good partners of ours. And so they have a blog out. This post from the end of the year was breaking it down for e-commerce tax time. So it kind of gives you a type of a calendar thing to work through. This is week 4, but you have links to week 1, 2, and 3 as well to go through that. And we may have talked about this in the last show, but it's pretty good blog for this tax time. People are trying to get this all together, Q1, be done with it. So Bookskeep is a great resource for that. So let's see. So we're going to go into some quick tips. So I saw this article about flat rate shipping. And I don't know if you do that in your business. Probably if you merchant fulfill, maybe it's an option. You don't really worry about it with FBA, but maybe if you're selling in other marketplaces, they talk about why you should consider flat rate shipping. And it is actually a pretty good deal. I sell stuff on eBay, and I'll use flat rate pretty frequently because I can just put it into them as long as it fits in their box. I'll still use it for my own boxes too. I'll measure, and they give you that option. But something to consider as you're shipping items out is the flat rate shipping. So if you're not familiar with that and you're doing any other marketplace stuff, maybe look into that. Hey, Kenny, I see your question, and I'll get right to that. I just wanted to go to another tip was somebody asked about in our support portal about when they change the quantity of an item in a batch and then having to reprint the labels. If you have a thermal label printer, Dymo, Zebra, Brother, Rollo, you can go in once it's installed and it's printing your labels. You can change it to automatically print by just clicking here, and that'll turn that on after you add it to a batch or add it to a merchant fulfill batch if you print labels for those items. But another thing that's kind of overlooked is the after quantity edit right here. So what that means is if you put in 5 items into a batch, but then find maybe a couple more, and so you edit the item, and let me just show you how that works. So like this one, it's in the batch. I've got 10, but I find 2 more, so I need to edit it. So I'm going to go click on these lines here, edit, and I change my quantity from 10 to 12, and then I save it. If I have that toggled on after quantity edit, we'll print 2 more labels. We're not going to print 12 labels for you. We're just going to print the amount you changed. So if you added 5, we'd print 5 more labels. And so it's a pretty handy feature if you're not familiar with that. Since we got a couple tickets this week, I thought I'd bring that up. So, and that's kind of all I have for that. So now we're going to get into the Q&A. So we had a couple of questions. Let me get up here to the top. Catherine had a question. Does IL support any generic thermal printers? You know, not officially. The ones we officially support are, you know, Dymo, Brother, Zebra, and Rollo. But we're always looking to add to that. So if you have a certain brand that you want to see about getting added, feel free to open up a ticket and support and have a suggestion put in to that, because we just maybe not heard of certain printers, and we don't have a generic setting though. But if you've got one pretty cheap, you want to see if it works, you could add it. I don't know if it would work. We have some people using wireless printers. I think Zebra wireless. I can't remember the model, and they're able to get that working. I'm not sure exactly how, but you could also post, Catherine. I think a good option would be to post in the probably in the forum. So if you go to Resources, Help Center, and then go down here to the community forum, you can go into Ask the Community, and you can search on generic thermal printers, or you can just post a question. What about this printer? Has anybody ever tried that and get it to work? And see if other users have been able to get that to work. That's probably where I'd start. And then let's see, we got another one. Scrolling down. Kenny, yeah. Does Amazon process the 2D labels versus sending the box information through InventoryLab faster? If so, is InventoryLab planning to release a 2D label option? We are looking into the 2D option, and I know there are some companies out there that provide that. I don't know if they process that faster because the information is already entered into their system. And when you print out the labels, you know, of course, you have your return label that has the FBA information on it, and then the shipping label. And so I'm not sure how it works inside of the fulfillment centers. If that's quicker, it may be, because but they've scanned the other label as well. So I don't know enough about it to give you a good answer, but I do know we're looking into how feasible that is to provide that option. Don't have a timeline for you, but. And I also want to remind everybody, put in your New Year's resolution that you made, or if you don't participate in that and don't do resolutions, just comment as that as well, and you'll be entered to win some swag. So make sure you comment there. So any other questions? I've kind of run through all the stuff that I had, but I've got a lot of time for Q&A here. If you can think of anything you're wondering about, I can demo it right here on the screen. Got our test account up, so be happy to do that. Just pop those into the questions field, and I was sure Andy Zoomer would have a question, but he usually does. Let's see. Jay. Keep getting an error when I submit my batch to Amazon. If you're getting an error when you submit, it's going to be listed right here under list and Amazon listing errors. And so for those, we have to look into your account. I can't help you on this public forum because I want to reveal what any of your account information, but just go up to support and open up a ticket and make sure you give them the full error, or tell them it's in your listings Amazon listing errors page. If you don't see it in the listing errors page, screenshot of the error helps, and then we can look into the back end feeds, because it could be, there's any number of reasons why you'd get an error when you submit. If you recall what the wording was and can put that into the chat, I can maybe help you there as well. But so Blake, why do my shipments get duplicated sometimes? Sometimes that does happen. We're a web application, and so you want to make sure when you're navigating in the application, you use the breadcrumbs. That's this area up here at the top left. So for example, if I'm going to review this batch, see if it'll let me. May not, because there we go. So if I'm going to review the batch, it shows me the active one here in blue, but I can go back by just clicking on list and prep right up there. And now that's blue because that's the active one. So that's preferable to using the back and forward buttons on a browser, because since we're a web app, that can resend some of the feeds, especially when you're on the, like you go to, I want to submit this, and I'm going to request some plans from Amazon for these items. And if I were to, hit the back and then reprocess it and send it again, it can duplicate some items, but it can also be Amazon on their end. If the feeds are acting up that day, which happens, you can get duplicates. So in the situation would be, I'd have two shipments listed here, both 7 quantity, both going to AVP1, 2 of these and 2 of these. So I'd have 6 shipments. And so if you're not looking for that, it's very easy to miss those, and you can create a shipment. Now, if you create one of the shipments here and then you realize you've got duplicates, then you're best just to delete the shipment in Seller Central, and then close the batch manually by coming here, closing, then restore it, and then process it again to get a correct proposed shipping plan. But if you do notice it, and that's why we say to review this before you go further, before you create anything, you want to review these, make sure there's no duplicates. You can use this decline and go back. And so what you do is you just click there, decline and go back. Yes, that's what I want to do. What it does is deletes that shipping plan from Seller Central, which is allowed, takes you right back to your batch. And then you can send it in again, send the feeds in to Amazon again to get a new shipping plan for your proposed shipping plan page. And that usually fixes that. But you want to make sure you do not create a shipment before checking them thoroughly to make sure those aren't duplicates. You can see it pretty easily when you see 2 at AVP1, both with 7. If you click on them, you can see that your quantity is doubled basically. So it's pretty easy to find. SNI added using IL. Can you clarify what SNI is? I'm not sure. Or it's not coming to me. Where does prep type come from? If it says NA, is it just not provided from Amazon? Right, Russ. So the prep instructions, which will be, I just edit this, they'll be right here. If Amazon doesn't have it in the feeds, the product feeds that we're getting from their API, then it'll say NA, meaning Amazon hasn't put them in there. Some items they put in there and some they don't. But you can go to Seller Central and look up prep instructions, and it'll tell you what type require prep. And one thing you can do, let me just see if I have any here, and I can show you what I mean. Shipping plans, hopefully I have one here, okay. I'm just gonna work on a shipping plan, and so I can show you, it'll show you the categories. Yeah, these are all, you can see our test account. Try a different one that has a actual valid. It'll let you pick, it'll tell you what categories require prep. Yeah. Anyway, on this page, when you get to the prepare products from a shipping plan, if you need to set like they have Amazon Prepare and stuff, that's where you'd find those instructions. But there's just certain categories. And so some of those are, um, granular stuff, coffee, that sort of stuff has to be in its own sealed container. And if it doesn't have a secondary seal inside, then you have to wrap it so in case it leaks. Plush toys, those need to be in a baggie or bubble wrap, but that has to, not bubble wrap, but in a clear plastic bag. And then it also has to be labeled with the choking hazard label. So, um, those are kind of things. And if it's a glass item, you got to bubble wrap that and make sure that it won't break when you drop it from, I can't remember if it's 5 feet or something like that. So some of those things are kind of standard, but I would look in prep instructions. You'll see the categories. If you search in Seller Central, it'll show you the categories there. Okay, small and light sheet. Okay, yeah, I should have known that. My brain wasn't clicking for that. So small and light, if you're adding small and light items, you should have already had the items approved for the small and light program. So you would list them just as you normally would, and you put them in the batch, and then your fees are going to be different. We don't pull in the small and light fees, so those fees are going to show odd, but Amazon will use the correct ones when they sell. But they'll go to certain fulfillment centers that process small and light items. And so even if your proposed, or even if the tentative location for your items, so like on this one, what I mean by tentative shows these. So say this was a small and light, and none of these are small and light fulfillment centers. It's because we haven't gotten into the API yet for that. And so once you get to the proposed FBA shipments page, Amazon will have told us, yeah, we recognize that. That's registered with the small and light program. And you do have to be registered for those items. And then they'll direct it to the correct fulfillment center. So you add it the same way you always did with regular items. It's just when we process that with Amazon to get to your shipping plan, Amazon will make sure those will go to the correct fulfillment center. So, and when sending pallets, you have to make changes in IL or let Amazon pick their options. For pallets, yeah, if you have more than 200 boxes, you definitely want to have the batch set up. So when you're creating a batch, you're going to change shipping method from SPD, which is small parcel, and that's limited to 200 boxes or less. You want to change it to LTL or less than truckload, and that'll allow you to put in up to 5,000 boxes, or I think it's 4,999. But the shipment stuff is all done in Seller Central. So all we do within InventoryLab is allow you to list more than 200 boxes if it's an LTL or pallet. Then when you get into Seller Central, you're going to have to pick or input your shipping information there. And so I think you have options. I've never shipped LTL on anything, but I think you have options to pick some things there in Seller Central, like, let's see here. I don't think we have any current, oh, maybe we do. So even though you've picked, so this will probably say small parcel delivery. Back. Yeah, I can change it right here. And then other carrier, I'd want to select the mode and then the carrier, and then it goes from there. So you can change that if it's small parcel delivery. I mean, Amazon fills in a lot of this. Let's see. Is there a way to add a missing box once I've closed the shipment in Seller Central? So I'm not quite sure what you mean. So if you have a shipment of 3 boxes in your box contents, but then you actually had 4. Is that what you mean? If you could clarify that for me. And I can answer that more effectively, but Blake, how do I add an expiration date? I forgot to do it when I do box contents in InventoryLab. What you do, Blake, is if you've already gotten to where you've created the shipments, and your box content is all done, usually that's when you get an error after you transmit box contents. So what you do is you just go in here, click the 3 lines, go to box content information, and then any item that requires an expiration date, all you do is you just click here on the NA. Click there, add it in, pick your date. Make sure you select the day as well, the month, the year, then click on the day if it has it. If not, you're gonna have to make your best guess. And then click done. And once you do that, you'll want to transmit updated boxes and then wait, because you want to get that green success message. So you want to get, where it says, yes, Amazon has accepted your box contents. And then you can go to Seller Central and then process it. But that's how you send the expiration dates if you forgot to put them in initially. And then after you get that red box that says, you forgot an expiration date. And then wait for the green accepted, and then you can finish up the shipment in Seller Central. If your shipment is no longer in working status, then you have to reach out to seller support. So that's the advantage with box content on, is I can go into box content and I can make those changes right from here, just transmit it, and it takes care of it in Seller Central as well. Yeah, I like this Yellow Brick Road reselling. When in doubt, bubble wrap and or polybag. Yeah, for sure, because you don't want to get stuff stranded once it gets to the fulfillment center, or broken for that matter. If you have one item that needs to go to a separate warehouse and you decide not to send it, do I cancel that one shipment? Now, Amazon, they dictate to us where they want your shipments. And so if you have, that's just one shipment. But okay, so let's say you have these 3 shipments. These all have multiple quantities, so that's not a good one. Let's try this one. Just see what happens here. Amazon's policy is every shipment in the shipping plan right here, the proposed, needs to be created, or you can't create any of them. So what that means is you can't delete a shipment like you used to be able to. We used to have a delete option. You could delete a shipment you didn't want to send in, like if it was only one item. But now Amazon says every shipment has to be created or none of the shipments. And so your option is, if you don't like these smaller shipments, you have 2 options. You can just decline shipments and go back, try it again and see if maybe they redistribute. Sometimes that happens. But the better option is just go ahead and create all 3, because once you create all 3 shipments, you have 90 days to send them in. So let's say in this case, I create all 3 shipments. I'm only going to send in this one with 7. So I send that one in. And now I have these 2 shipments, one with 2 items, one with 1. That's not cost effective to ship, but they can remain in working up to 30 days once I send any shipment from a shipping plan. So once one of these is shipped, I have 30 days in which to send the other 2. What that does is it gives you time with subsequent batches that'll hopefully have items going to the same fulfillment center. Because if that happens, let's say I create these 2 shipments, and let's say maybe it was actually an AVP1 shipment that had like 1 item, or even this one has 7. And I create all 3, and I'm not ready to ship that yet. So then I do another batch, and now I have this batch. And it's like, okay, these 7 items are going to AVP1, so I have an option to add it to a current working shipment. So that's why we say you create all the shipments. They'll be waiting down here. And I have this one shipment here going to AVP1 that has 1 item. I can select that shipment from the list. If I have more than one, it'll all show here. But if I just have that one that has one item in it, that 4C1. I can click here and my 7 items get added to this shipment. Now I've got 8 in that shipment. That makes it a lot more cost effective. And so that's the option. We've kind of done a workaround to make that available, since you don't want to run afoul of Amazon. So you just create all your shipments and then hopefully create later batches. You have 30 days to do it after you send one of the shipments. And then hopefully you'll have some that can get added. If not, you're kind of stuck with having to send those in. I suppose you could delete them if you wanted to in Seller Central and just hope that Amazon doesn't catch on. But officially, you're supposed to do that. So right, yeah, Sheila, you go to Amazon and get the approval and then add the batch as usual. Let me see. Let me just search for that real quick for you. I'm just searching small and light Seller Central. And then the first one came up. Let me turn my screen back on. It came up. So it gives you the eligibility, and then you have to enroll those eligible products through the enrollment page, and it's right there. So let me just put this in the chat for you so you have that. Yeah, so you got to get it approved and then you send it in. But we've had some people send items in that were eligible, but they didn't get approved, and so they weren't going to those correct centers. So you want to make sure you get approved and then sign up for it. So. Okay, yeah, Cedra, yeah, if you've shipped in, if you've created a 3-box shipment, so your box content is 3 boxes, but you forgot to send in the one, it should have printed 3 different labels, or 6 actually. You have 2 labels per box. One is the return address that has the FBA info, and one is the shipping label. So that should be in a box. So you'll have to print 6 labels because they should have 3 boxes for you if you've filled out box content for 3 boxes, but you didn't ship that 3rd one, you should still have the label. So if you did have, like you said, I had 12 total boxes, but I missed one when I prepared the shipment. So you should have 12 shipping labels, and you should be able to go into Seller Central and print out that 12th one and send it in. They should be able to ship that in. I think it's UPS is their partner carrier now. So if I'm understanding that right. Yeah, Sheila, once the item is enrolled in small and light, how does Amazon know how to connect? We get that through the API because it changes in your Seller Central account. Amazon does something on their end, and so the information we get on the inventory, and when Amazon detects those products, when you send the batch feeds to Amazon to get your proposed FBA shipments page, when you send that information to Amazon, Amazon recognizes those items because you've registered them, and they specifically direct those items to that fulfillment center. So you may have a batch that has a mix of small and light and other items, but Amazon will pick those small and lights out and send them to a specific fulfillment center that does small and light. So it's all done in the background, and so you do have to give it time to get into the API once you're approved. Amazon isn't the quickest when they update things, as you all probably know. So you want to make sure that, like, if you get approved and then come right into InventoryLab, it may not be set yet in the API because we're going by what Amazon tells us there. So we can't change that. We just have to wait. But again, if you have a New Year's resolution, or if you don't participate in those things, just make a comment and you'll be entered for a swag box. So yeah, Kenny, you're welcome. Yeah. Any other questions? I'll be glad to answer those. Still got a few more minutes. Yeah, Sheila, no other step that you have to do in InventoryLab. It's all done in Seller Central. And so once they approve you, then you're good to go. Once it gets through to the API, sometimes it takes longer. If you're trying to get that approval process in Q4, it'll probably take a while, but yeah. All right, just checking to make sure I didn't miss any. Let's see here, I'm just entering the names now. So if you have any questions, feel free to put those in. I can certainly do that. All right, almost through here. I've learned that I don't multitask well when I'm typing versus, when I'm trying to type something out. No, I used to be a 911 dispatcher. Some of you may know that already, but multitasking was I could type, talk, hit the radio and say something else in the midst of a conversation and do all that stuff. But yeah, I after I got out of that, it's non-existent now. Like on one track here. So apologies for taking so long, but sorting through the comments to see who does the New Year's resolutions, and then we'll get this flag out here. And again, we have, we give 2 swag boxes. So we'll have swag box 1, and then we'll have swag box 2, and then we always do a Amazon gift card. So whichever one you win, if you win the gift card, make sure you just email support@inventorylab.com. And then what we do is we'll email you the gift card. If you win the swag box, then what you want to do is make sure that you also contact support and give us your mailing address. And then what we do is once we get the new swag in, I showed a couple of items, and I'll show those again before I draw. We're getting kind of winter spring swag. So I remove this. So you're going to have, hand sanitizer, of course, and a nice little felt blanket branded with InventoryLab here. So those are 2 of the items that'll be in the swag box, but there'll be more as well. And so let's see, any more comments? We do have one more. Oh, Dimitri, you don't participate? Yeah. Let me add you in there as well. Thank you for playing. Okay, let's run it through. Okay. So swag box 1, that's Blake D. Blake D, send an email to support@inventorylab.com or open up a ticket. You can also go right to your application here and click on support. Fill out a ticket and just say you want a swag box, and then include your mailing address, and we'll get that out to you. All right, and the next one is Russ Allen. Russ, also email support or open up a ticket. Let us know a mailing address. We'll get that out to you. Now, keep in mind, we're waiting for the rest of the swag to come in. So it's maybe still another couple weeks. Hopefully not, but we're waiting. And we'll get those in as soon as we can. And yeah, Blake. Yeah, you may not have been in here. You know, the joke was that I was trying to look like Wade Garrett, you know, and it just wasn't working, just wasn't happening there. So Wade Garrett, of course, from Roadhouse, aka Samuel Elliott. So I gave up. So I shaved. And I noticed that when I was walking the dog today, we have a bitter wind here in Tulsa, and it was 20 degrees, and then the wind. Oh man, the beard did help. But now we have the grand prize is the and that's Yellow Brick Road Reselling. So Yellow Brick Road Reselling, congrats, and congrats to Blake D and Russ Allen as well for your swag boxes. But Yellow Brick Road Reselling, just email us at support and tell us the correct email to send that gift card to, and we'll get that out to you. Last week I talked about Christmas, what we did on Christmas, Andrea and I did. And somebody asked me what I won for winning the Hot Wings Challenge, and I don't think I showed it. So let me do that now. I want to set a Longhorns. I'm a Longhorns fan. But my cousins are all Sooners fans, so he had those upside down, of course. That's what a Sooners fan does with the Longhorns. Anyway, it's a traveling trophy, and you can see how long that thing is. We couldn't even fit it in the car, so it's still in Oregon. It's at my sister's house, proudly displayed. So anyway, one of these days, I actually need to buy that from him. I think that would look good in the house. But anyway, any cell wallets with the ring? Cell wallets. Oh, do you mean like that go in the back of like an iPhone that has the magnetic thing, Sheila? That would be a good that'd be a good swag item. Yeah, Kosh, you're welcome. Anytime. Glad to do it. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, you know, I think my days of competing in that Hot Wings challenge are over. It was just terrible. We got it from the Heatonist, HEATONIST.com. We got the sauces they use on the hot ones. Set of 10. I was doing fine using avocado and half to soothe my mouth. Got to 8, and I thought my mouth was on fire. Cleared that. Number 9 was not bad. I thought, oh, okay, it's on the downhill. This is good. And then I hit 10, and that was the worst of all. It was horrible. So I think, you know, I'm just going to be a one-time. There's not going to be any two-time champ here. So, yeah. Oh, okay, Sheila. Yeah, the wallet that just kind of magnet onto the back of the iPhone. That's a good idea. I'll pass that on to the swag gurus that deal with that. But anyway, thanks for joining us today. And again, get those requests to support for the swag boxes and the gift card. And we'll see you at the next one. Take care, everybody.